Hello there. I want to kind of do a video on knife sharpening. I don't know that it'll be a comprehensive video, but I kind of want to run you through the basics because I know a lot of you are interested in it. And I want to run through what I use and what alternatives are out there to what I use. You might have particular stones that I don't, or you might have you might not have the stones that I have, but you might have something different that will work. And so what I want to do is, with a knife sharpening, just like with razors or anything else that has an edge on it, you need at least three things. You need something that will remove a lot of steel quickly, so that if you have an edge that really doesn't have an edge, you can profile a bevel into that blade really fast and then move on. And once you have that established, then you need an intermediate stone and whatever stone you want to use to finish at whatever degree it is that you want to finish to. And for me, right now, my steel mover, my what you would call a profile stone, is a 140 Atoma diamond plate. Now, I just got this not long ago. A good friend of mine gave it to me as a gift because he knew we were in conversation, and he said, well, use a coarse diamond plate, like a 140 or something like that. And I said, well, all I've got is like a 400 and a 1K combo plate. And he said, really? And then the next thing I know, this was in the mail when I went up to the mailbox. So I appreciate it, because this thing has come in handy moving steel in a lot of different contexts. But I prefer the diamond plate. But you could use like a 220 Waterstone. You could use a medium India, which is an intermediate stone for me on knives. This stone. Or you could even use something, the old standby for us country boys that didn't have a whole lot of money was, and this is filthy because I use it for tools, was one of these combo silicon carbide stones. I think I probably paid $2 for that, brand new, cheapo. Okay, you don't need anything expensive. This is grunt work. All it's doing is removing a lot of steel, grinding a lot of steel away really fast, and a cheap, porous, low grit stone like this will do that work just fine. You don't need to go out and spend $80 on a bevel setter or edge profiler or whatever it is you want to call that stone. You just need some. Matter of fact, you could use sandpaper, coarse grit sandpaper on a flat surface. Doesn't matter. All you're doing is reprofiling the edge. Now, I prefer some kind of hone. Okay, but if you're in a pinch and you don't have that, you can. So that's the first thing. And the next thing, like I say, is you need some type of intermediate. But before we get to that, what I would say to you is the Atoma plates particularly, but a lot of the diamond plates, if you use a lot of pressure on this plate, it will go away. You'll have to buy a new one in 6 months or so. But you need to understand, you don't need pressure on a diamond plate. The diamonds cut really well. They cut really fast. They're very aggressive. And the only thing you're really going to get on like a 140 grit diamond plate, if you use a lot of pressure, is a big chippy edge. So you don't need that. Alright. I use on all of these stones, I use dishwashing liquid and water. Now, this is, I think, palm olive that I got at the Dollar Tree. People say all the time, Dawn and water, Dawn and water. Well, that's not a bad thing. But Dawn is not magic. It's a dishwashing liquid, okay? Yeah, they use it to wash off seagulls and stuff like that Exxon crapped on. Alright? But they could easily use what's in here. It's just a soap, people. That's all it is. So, I use whatever's cheaper, but make sure that it's a name brand so that I'm not getting junkiness. Some kind of junky mystery soap, but at least a quality name brand soap so that, I know I got decent soap. And so, that's what I use. Next week it might be Joy, or next month, or it might be Dawn. Doesn't matter. But I use this instead of oil because, in my opinion, it doesn't load up in the stone like oil does. Sometimes oil can get down in your stone and gum the living snot out of it. This not only provides lubrication, but the soap in it cleans the stone as I go. A lot better than the oil does. So, to each their own. So, I've got my steel mover. My hone or stone that I can reprofile or fix chips in a blade or whatnot. So what's next? Well, next for me, for knives, let me set the Atoma over there, is this stone right here. This is a Norton MB8. It's a medium India stone. It is 240 grit, something like that. This is an old one. The new ones, they say, are 240. I don't know if it's the same, but I would imagine it probably is. Norton's fairly consistent on their grit ratings from years past. But this is a very old stone that I got at a flea market, and it was absolutely black with oil. I thought it was a black Arkansas when I first picked it up. But after cleaning it, I realized what it was. It's a medium India. Like I said, you could use this to reprofile and stuff. It will cut and take care of that just fine. But I use this because it's less aggressive to the edge than this. In other words, this can leave a really chippy edge, and this will help to smooth the chippiness out that coming from this. This will help to smooth that edge out. And the way I prepped this is I took this plate and lightly under running water lapped the top of this stone, not using a lot of pressure because these will destroy this stone too, trust me. Okay, and a replacement plate for this is like $70. So you want to watch that. But anyway, and then what I did was, after I did that, I took 60 grit free cut or gator or something, a no-load sandpaper, and 50 or 60 grit. I happen to have 60 laying around, so that's what I used. And I sanded the surface with this until I got it where I thought it was right for what I'm going to do. And then, after I'm done on this stone, what I'll do, most of the time with a knife, is I'll move to a soft Arkansas stone. This stone was prepped in the same way that this stone was prepped. Once again, very lightly, no pressure, that kind of deal. And you can see it's flat all up until about here. And this section here is just a little bit low. That's not going to matter. I'm not really going to hit that. The other side of this stone is more burnished. I don't know if you can see that or not. but it has a burnish on it. Because I use this side for straight razors, and I like a little bit finer edge on the soft for my straight razors. But you can also, instead of a hard, I can burnish this stone, come from here and go to here with a knife if I want just a little bit more, and that'll do the job. But on a pocket knife, a hunting knife, a fixed blade knife, unless it's a kitchen knife or something I'm doing fine work with, on a working knife, I rarely go past a soft Arkansas on the finish. Now, remember I told you there were alternatives. If you got Waterstones, you can use a Waterstone progression. Go as high as you want. You can use, like I said, a 220 grit Waterstone to move steel, and then move on up to like a 400 or a 600 or whatever, and then on to like a 1K, and if you want to go past that, you can do that as well. What I would tell you is don't be afraid to use your Waterstones for knives. Just don't dig into the stone and cut gouges out of it and stuff like that. It's a Waterstone. Okay? Use it appropriately. It'll cut really good. You don't need a ton of pressure on a Waterstone either. But I'm just saying, what you need, whatever your materials are, you need something you can move a lot of steel with. You need something to refine the edge a little bit after you come off of whatever it is that you use to hog off all the steel, because believe me, the edge will be rough. And then you need something to go to from that intermediate to kind of finish the blade. And so we're going to go ahead now. And what I have, this is a stand for a king